Video we had stopped at this point, just kind of showing how to set up your project, how to set up the layers. So as far as wash goes, you want to have your tablet with you. You want to be using that at all times. Your paintbrush, I used the round robin brush. You might want to choose another one. It's all really dependent on what you feel comfortable using. I changed my opacity to 50%, and now I'm going to use a lot of keyboard shortcuts to allow me not to have to go up to my toolbar. I for eyedropper, B for brush, and then just come in and start applying. I'm holding my brush down the whole time. If you don't, you get these overlapped lines. So it's okay if you do that. It's up to you if you want to. I for eyedropper, B for brush, come in with my pink. Since this is an underlying layer and there's a color on top of it, I'm going to go ahead and fill up this whole section. And I for eyedropper, B for brush, and I'm just going to come in here and go over that. Now I'm going over the area that I want to focus on, so I'm going to hit E for eraser and come in and erase my overlap there. The eraser I'm using is actually a Kyle eraser. It's called Watercolor Eraser Edge. This was one that you practiced with earlier. You can definitely go ahead and use that brush. I like it a lot for this. Okay, because I'm working in 50% opacity, my brush is not laying down the color super bright or dark, which is nice because I'm not ready to go in with my shadow and my highlights yet. And I'm just undoing because my hand can't control that edge, so I'm just gonna practice until I get it. Not a digital painter, but I find this to be very fun, and it does take a lot of practice. I've been at this for about a month or so trying to teach myself how to do this, and I'm not perfect at it, but it's definitely easier as you continue practicing, like anything else. So don't give up on it, keep trying. If you have to undo a bunch of times, then keep doing that until you're happy with what you get. Don't give up. And I like to keep my brush held down, like I said, but it's up to you if you want to go in and keep a bunch of brush strokes. Just trying to get a nice clean wash. Now, I would keep going until I've laid out most of all my, I've laid out all the colors. And then I would start going in and I would start adding highlights. So let's assume that I finished this. Let's go ahead to highlights. And for this one, I want to increase my opacity to 100%. When you are trying to find highlights in a photo, a piece of artwork, you can squint your eyes, and when you squint your eyes, those highlights will pop out, and they should show up better in your vision. So I'm going to go ahead and focus in on those areas with 100%, and you can tell the paint is going on a little bit brighter, which is exactly what I want since I'm dealing with highlights. It's getting a little too dark for me, so I'm going to start over. And you don't have to be painting your highlight at 100% if you don't want to. You could even go a little bit less and just build as you go. Okay? All right, so those are highlighted areas. These would be my highlighted areas, all of this. And then when I'm ready, what I'll do is I'll go to my shadows and I'll start focusing on the darkest areas. So this is a darker area. I would consider that a shadow, and I am going to work in 100%. And these edges are pretty clean, so I'm really trying to focus on making sure those edges are butted up against each other nicely. And again, those layers are so nice because I messed up by going over the edge, but because I had the wash in a layer below, I can go ahead and just use my eraser. I come in here with my shadows again. And this is a pretty defined area. It has very, very strong curves. So I'm going to go a little bit outside. And then I'm going to take my eraser and really focus in, because right here I would technically have a highlight. And so I'd have my highlight right here, and this is on top of my highlight, so I wouldn't be erasing the highlight, I'd be exposing it, keeping that edge nice and clean. Like that. And you just keep on building and building until it starts to look like the photo. But it also has a painterly look to it as well.